How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a really good Christmas. I know we've been super busy running around and spending time with family, but it's time to get back out into the garage. I want to get to work on the H22 today. So the plan today is to get this rotating assembly fully disassembled and ready for the machine shop. So I got to tear into this, but before I do that, I need to clean up the garage because it is a big mess from getting rid of the prelude. So I got prelude parts kind of scattered everywhere. I got EP3 parts kind of scattered everywhere. So I want to get everything organized, kind of get cleaned up in here so that I can regain some of my sanity again and just kind of get everything organized so that I know exactly what I have and where it is. And then I can make some room because I'm going to have to use this part of the workbench here for the rest of the rotating assembly because it's already full here. I'm already full over there. So we got to make some room over here now. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time right now just getting the garage cleaned up, and then we're going to start tearing into the H22. Well, guys, that took a while to get the garage clean. Usually Tim is the one that has me clean up the garage before he comes, but he hasn't been here in a while, and I guess it got a lot messier than I thought, so it took a bit of time, but it's nice and clean now. Everything's organized, tools are all put away, so I think I can start tearing back into the H22, so let's get started. So first thing I'm going to start with is getting this front engine cover off of here. So there's a bunch of 10 mils around the outside, so I'm just going to start loosening those off, and it is held on with RTV as well. So I think once I get all those loosened off, this should lightly pry off of here. I'm not 100% sure about this part of the oil pump yet, if I need to take the sprocket off or not. For the time being, I'm going to leave it on there and see what happens. It might come off all as one assembly, but I'm not 100% sure. This is kind of new territory for me. I haven't dug into a Honda motor this far yet, so I'm gonna kind of have to figure it out as I go. So that's the part that I'm gonna start with, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, so that is the front engine cover / oil pump removed. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is flip the engine upside down, and we're going to start working on getting the crank out of here as well as the pistons. Also, there is a balance shaft in here as well, so I believe it's these two 10 mils. I'm not sure if there's anything else from underneath, but maybe what I'm going to do is flip the engine upside down first. See what we're dealing with, because this balance shaft is going to have to come out as well. So yeah, let's just get this thing flipped upside down, and we'll kind of see what's going on under there. Alright guys, so here's what we're dealing with right now. I got the engine flipped upside down, and it looks like the first thing I'm going to have to remove is these oil passages here, which looks like it's a bunch of 14 mils. So what I'm going to do is start in the middle and then work my way out. I'll slowly loosen them off. So I'll probably do about a quarter turn at a time until they're all fully loose. Then I'll zip them out of there and get that removed. There is also a rear engine cover that I'm going to have to take off at some point, but I don't think it's going to get in the way of this currently, and it's being blocked by the engine stand right now, so it's going to be a bit inconvenient to get to that stuff. So I'm going to see if I can get all of this done without removing the rear engine cover, and then we'll see if all that works out. So we'll start with this, and then we'll just keep moving along. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay guys, so that is the main bearing caps taken off, as well as what I was calling the oil passages before, but I think the technical term for it is the girdle, but it does also act as oil passages because it feeds oil through the middle and into the main bearings. So that's removed now. It took quite a bit of prying to get it off. It was on there very tight. So I tried looking up online how to remove it, and I could find absolutely nothing. I do have a service manual, but I didn't want to take time to go through it and try and find it. So I did pry on both sides very lightly, and eventually it did pop on both sides. And these three crank caps did come with the girdle. These two did not. So these ones that stuck in the block, they were a pain to get out actually. I tried wiggling them free and they just would not come free, so I had to tap them lightly with a dead blow hammer, and eventually they did come loose and I could wiggle them out. So they are off now. Everything seems to be in pretty good shape. When looking at the main journals here, I don't see any major scoring or anything, or any burn marks or anything like that, so I'm pretty happy with the condition of the crank so far. This stripe in the middle, that's just a mark from the bearing because that's where the oil passes through. So there isn't any bearing material there on the bearing, so then it just wears in that way. But yeah, it looks really good. So the next step is going to be to get the rod caps off. We can get the pistons out, check out the condition of those, and then I think after that I'm going to take the rear engine cover off so that we can get the crank out, and that should be just about it. Oh yeah, and there's also the balance shaft that I have to take out as well. I'm guessing it's going to be about the same as when I took the oil pump out as well, because this acts as a balance shaft also, and it just pulled straight out. So if I remove these two 10 mils, it should just pull straight out, much like the other one did. So let's get started on the pistons, and then we'll see where we get to next. Alright guys, so this surprised me, but these are actually a 13 mil. So I'm going to get those broken loose and then loosened off. Okay, there's one piston. Obviously very dirty and well used. The bearings though are looking pretty rough. I mean, there's no major scoring or anything in them, but they definitely do not have a smooth finish on them anymore, and it almost looks like there's some burn marks on them, so definitely in need of replacing. And it doesn't look like it damaged the crank at all, but I guess I won't know for sure until I take it to the machine shop, and then the guy will have a look at it and get all the measurements. But let's get the rest of the pistons out of here, and then we'll see if we can get this crank out next. Alright guys, so I did manage to get the rear engine cover off. It was a pain in the butt to do it though, because the engine stand was in the way. So I ended up having to fit the smallest ratchet that I have in there, and I did like a quarter of a turn at a time. So it took a really long time, but I got it out, and now the crank is basically ready to come out. Unfortunately, my phone was about to die. It was at like 2%, and I kind of have it stuck on the charger on the wall right now, so I don't really have much room to move. But let's see, yeah, here I can get kind of an angle of what it looks like right now. I'm gonna see if I can set my phone up as best I can so I can get an angle of the crank coming out. But as soon as I unplug my phone, it's gonna die. So I'm gonna see what I can do for angles here, and then we're gonna get that crankshaft out. All right, I wish you guys could see this right now because I legit have you clamped to my pellet gun, but it seems to be holding. Yeah, that should be okay. I'm gonna take this crank out of here real quick, and then that's basically it for today. So yeah, let's see if this comes out. Success. All right, so this is how I had you guys mounted up. Here's my phone charger, and the cable I have zip tied to the wall, and normally I would have it sitting up here, but because I wanted to record, I had my phone stand clamped onto my pellet gun, because that was the only thing in the right distance that this would reach. So, I mean, it worked, right? So, this is where we're at. I got the crank out. Everything looks to be in okay shape. I'm a little worried about these bearings here because there's some heat marks there, but the crank itself appears to be in very good shape. There's no major scoring or anything that I can see on the main journals. No, everything seems to be in really good shape, but again, I won't know for sure until I take it to the machine shop and have the guy actually measure everything and see what condition it's in. But for the time being, I'm very happy with the way it looks. So I think the last thing I have to do is just pop these main bearings out of here, and then I think the block is basically ready to be sent off. So I think I'm going to send him the block. The head, he had asked for the head to be fully assembled still, and the crank, and then that way he'll be able to get it all within spec again, make sure that nothing's warped, and then he'll be able to tell me what size bearings I need to order. Once I know what size I need to order, then I will know what size rods that I need. I think I want to get eagle rods, but I think there's two different sizes that they make for the H22, so I'm gonna have to figure out which ones I need. The next thing that's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to contact this guy, find out when a good time is to bring it down by his place and drop it off, and then I guess he'll get me a quote and a timeline and kind of estimate when it'll be done by, what kind of work he all needs to do, and then hopefully soon we can get the block back, and then we'll start the reassembly. So we're making really good progress here. There's still a long winter left, so we got lots of time to get all this work done. But we really need to start bringing in some cash. So I'm gonna have to get back to work on the EP3. So it's sitting right here. I got a lot of parts listed for sale now. Lots of people interested, but no one's actually come through with buying any of them yet. So I think I'm just gonna keep taking parts off the EP3, and then hopefully I can get some more interest. We'll start bringing in some more cash. I also got some prelude parts that I got to sell off, so lots of stuff that I got to get sold, and lots of potential for bringing in lots of money. So if I'm not able to get the stuff sold locally, I might try online, maybe even eBay, stuff like that, and see if I'm able to sell it that way. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Definitely give me a like if you've made it this far. Definitely drop me a comment below. Let me know how you feel, how the build's going. If you have any suggestions for me, we love to hear from you guys. And we'll see you on the next one.